All right, folks, what is going on? Episode 324 of the Person Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller, and I already had a show lined up. And I had to change plans, so yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and get into this. Uh, if this is your first time here, welcome. This is the First and Frame Rate Show. I'm VF Baller. We talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football, but we're going all in on Georgia Southern football today. And the reason being is because you have some people that just don't know when to stop. They just don't know when to stop. I mean, don't get me wrong. It doesn't have me bothered. It doesn't have me pressed, but it just doesn't. I just don't understand why when a coach is no longer with your school, go somewhere else, and you have, in all honesty, I think you have a much better coach. You still want to go back and troll the old coach? Why? And even on top of that, he didn't do that bad. Yeah, he had some down years, but trust me, I've seen worse. We're going to cover all that in this show, and we're also going to talk about, once again, why this guy, Coach Clay Helton, is my coach. He's my coach. He's won me over ever since he walked in the door in November of 2021. We're going to reiterate that again for people who don't know how I feel about this coach. And we're also going to talk about the things that he's done already and where we're going to go forward. If this is your first time here, once again, hit the like button. If you already here, hit the like button. Share this content. Subscribe to the channel. Also, I'm on Rumble. You also can find this on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, and Google. So if you want to find any way to support, just watching and hit the like button is the minimum. The maximum you can do is actually donate. The link is down in the description. I also have a Patreon where we do the extra episode every Sunday. All right, let's just go ahead and get into this, because I really don't want to linger on this much longer because it bothers me. It bothers me because it really shouldn't bother me, but I just don't understand. Like, we at Georgia Southern, we have very high standards. We always had high standards. If you've been not only just a student at the school, or you've been a staff member, or you just been a fan because you live in the area, or you just like what Georgia Southern does, if you've been around since the 80s, you know that Georgia Southern has very high standards for football. I mean, we won championships at the FCS level. We still strive to win championships at the FBS level when it comes to the Sun Belt Conference and bowl games. So we've done a pretty good job with bowl games, but the Sun Belt is that one, title that constantly eludes us to the point that we're not even in contention, which, I don't want to talk about that because of the coaching and the recruiting, but all that stuff is going to be, is pretty much, I think all that stuff has changed already. If you've seen the recruiting class that we brought in with Coach Helton and the staff that he's brought in, don't get me wrong, I understand where the USC fans are frustrated because you feel that you're supposed to be one of these top 3, top 5 schools in the country, but you guys haven't really been that way since 2005, 2006. Yeah, I mean, you guys have to understand, like, Coach Helton, even with Steve Sarkisian, whatever the case may be, you guys were just there. Y'all wasn't like that. Y'all wasn't that Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush type of, Taylor Mays and Mike Williams. Y'all wasn't that team. But I think he did a pretty good job for y'all. And for y'all, you know what? This is not for everybody as USC fans, because I've seen some people who have responded in kind or talked to me on Twitter with some sense. But you still, your logic is being drowned out by some of these insane fanatics that feel like Coach Helton is the worst coach in the world. Some people actually said that. Like, bro, you don't know what bad coaching is. If you want to know what bad coaching is, trust me, go back and look at some of the coaches we had after Paul Johnson left. After Paul Johnson won a couple national titles in the 1AA era. You want to see a bad coach? Go look at Savannah State right now. Go look at who they just hired. If you want to talk about a bad coach. There's nothing wrong with Coach Clay Helton. Is he flawed? Yes, all coaches are. And for us, we are very, very excited to have him with us to be the coach of this program. because we've had some downtimes. We had some ups, we had some downs. Our last regime that was here did okay. They crashed and burned at the end. But prior to that, it was abysmal. Now we did have, we had some pretty good, 2014, we had some pretty good times. But from that point on, 2015, we did pretty good. But 2015, 2016, it just started to go downhill. And to be honest, we haven't really recovered since, because I said this before. Don't get me wrong, I like Coach Chad Lunsford. I wish him the best on the FAU, but I still believe that those kids did well with their talent outside of a game plan. This coach right here is about to bring a game plan to this team, and we're going to be a well-oiled machine. Win, lose, or draw, we're going to be a well-oiled machine. We just have to be up to par with everybody else in the Sun Belt, which I think we will be. With all the recruits we got, 6-7 quarterbacks, 5-6 receivers, couple of running backs, a plethora of defensive players. I just don't understand that why. Y'all got to understand that USC was not all that prior, to what happened to Coach Helton. Yeah, he won a Pac-12 title. But prior to that, he's been 12 years at, USC. But all the coaches y'all been through since Pete Carroll left, you really want to talk about that? Y'all coaching resume or your coaching turnstile is just as bad as, the below average teams in the country. But y'all want to jump on a team that, to be quite honest, y'all would have probably never even thought about if it wasn't for Coach Helton come to our school. Y'all wouldn't even think about Georgia Southern like that. And this is what urged my nerve. It's not even about the team. It's about the coach. A guy that actually had some form of success. No, it wasn't all success. I've had other episodes when I went through his actual coaching timeline. And for him to be around for that long and going through Memphis and going through these other schools all the way up to USC, I think he has a pretty good resume for a coach. Is he the best? No. But let's be honest. When you look at all the college football coaches, out of 120, 130 teams, you may have 12, maybe 15 coaches that are top tier, and that's being generous. Because we don't even hear about any other coaches outside of the ones who's always in a national title all the time. There's already talks about Dabo Swinney might not be a good coach anymore because of what has happened this past year. Nobody's even talking about him, but that's another story. It just shows you, like, what are you trying to get when it comes to a coach? It's like you're not going to get a coach that's like elite right away. And to be honest, I think this is a great move for Coach Helton because it brings him back down to some form of, I ain't gonna say it brings him down. It gives him the chance to rebuild a foundation that he had for 20 some odd years. Sometimes you need that repeat. I'm looking at this article here. I'm going to put a link in the description so you guys can check it out. It's from sportsillustrated.com, Fan Nation, All Trojans. You'll find it. You'll see it. Clay Helton, my happiness is more important where I'm at. Helton was hired by Georgia Southern on November 7th after spending 12 years at USC. He had an interview with The Athletic. I'm going to paraphrase a lot of this. I'm not going to really go through all of it. He said, you know what, I've done it. I think my happiness is in the point of my coaching career for the job is a lot more important than where I'm at. You have a purpose in your life for 26 years, and all of a sudden it was the first time sitting out. That's when he got fired. He said, wow, this is different. It didn't take long for him to find a new job. We all know how the situation went down. Jared Benko wanted to talk to him for a couple of minutes. It turned into over an hour talk. They clicked, and it worked out pretty well. It's not much here, but I'll leave this link down in the description just to give you something. It kind of paraphrases The Athletic interview. And I don't have the interview. You got to go through The Athletic, and you have to have a subscription. It's subscription-based, which I never really thought about getting that. Maybe I will because I'm probably going to need it for what I do here. But, this is something that, is really, really special to everybody. Everybody here at Georgia Southern is basically sitting around learning and understanding that we really needed a reload. Georgia Southern needed a reload. We always tried to carry on that tradition that we had from the 80s, 90s, 2000s. But we needed a reload, and I think this is the man for the job. I think he's going to be pretty good at what he does here. Just because you're not successful at one place, that doesn't mean you can't be successful at another place. And vice versa. Some place you could be successful at one place and not do good somewhere else. But from what I see ever since he came through and started talking to the players, getting himself implemented into the atmosphere or the culture at Georgia Southern, it's like he came in and fit right in. And what he's trying to do to add his dynamic to that culture, it's been a beautiful thing. These guys over here that's still mad about what Coach Helton did or didn't do at Southern Cal, they don't see what's going on over here. They just want to point and laugh, and that's fine. I don't know why you're pointing and laughing. You have Lincoln Riley, which is a pretty good coach. He did pretty good at Oklahoma. I think you should be more fascinated by that than worrying about what we're doing over here. But I just don't get it. I feel that we're going to be really, really good when it comes to getting our grounding back in the Sun Belt. And I feel like this is the guy that can do it. There's no doubt in my mind. I feel like this is the person that can do it. And there's nothing wrong with it. I feel that if I had any doubts, I would tell you. I have no problem pulling punches or throwing punches at somebody who's warranted. I don't have a problem with that. I'm not going to pull any punches if somebody's doing something wrong. But not only just with Georgia Southern, but with Atlanta Falcons, we have a lot of turnover going around on both teams. This is really an exciting time for both teams because everything is unknown. But I know what I see when things change. When you see players react different from what they used to react to. I would want to think that the guys at USC would see this with Lincoln Riley because they feel that Coach Helton was such a terrible coach, you should see the players react better to Lincoln Riley. This is what we see at Georgia Southern. It's just a trickle-down effect. What works for you guys may not work for us. The coach that don't work for you guys may work for us. The coach that don't work for you guys, you kind of see what I'm saying? It happens. But I just don't understand where I just don't understand where all this hate come from. It's like, to me, it just feel like it's no reason. Or you just want to be a troll. Who wants to live their life like that on Twitter? I don't get it. I don't know. I feel like at the end of the day, I just cannot. I'm not going to spend too much more time on this, but I really feel that you're really going to start seeing some real significant differences from what we had the last few years. And I feel like, and it's not even any hate to USC. There's a situation where you could probably see a big difference in USC, and they may end up competing with the Oregon or competing for, a playoff spot. Because I never had a problem with USC up until now. We got fans now at Georgia Southern just wish that USC don't win another game, and I don't blame them. I don't blame you. You coming for us like we did something wrong to you. All we did was hire a coach that we thought that fit best for the job. What's wrong with that? So I feel as I close, I'm going to say this. If you don't have a legitimate, honestly, if you don't have a legitimate reason, like a real X's and O's, a real numbers or eye test reason why you don't, like Coach Helton, that's fine. But to come over here and bother us about it, that says more about you than me. Does it bother me? Yes, because it gets old. But I will say this. This guy is our coach. That's my coach. And I feel like he's going to be able to do big things here in Georgia. I think he's going to be able to do a lot of big things in the Sun Belt. I think he's going to be able to turn this thing around. And I think that with him resetting his foundation is really going to have things going in the right direction. Well, I still, don't get me wrong now. I'm not saying that he's going to be a world beater and beat everybody up in the Sun Belt, but I expect 8 games. I mean, I don't think he's, I'm not going to sit here and just say like it's all good. I expect to win 8 games next year. I'm serious about that. I'm sticking with that. I said that ever since I realized who he's recruiting and who he's bringing in. I want 8 games. I want to turn around from 3-9 to 8-4. Minimum. So I'm going to still stick with that. But I feel that we have something special here. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with feeling that way. You guys at USC should feel the same way about having fun and winning some games with Lincoln Riley. Because he did pretty good at Oklahoma. I truly wish y'all nothing but the best. I don't cast aspersions or hate to any team, really. I joke and fun about and make fun of South Carolina Gamecocks, but I want to see everybody compete at the highest level. And if you win, you win. You lose, you lose. But I don't want to see anybody just absolutely just, whole program goes, go die off somewhere. I don't want to see that. But one thing I'm not going to one thing I'm not going to tolerate. I mean, like seriously, I don't think any fan should. Is not going to tolerate just bad mouthing the coach just because you're hating. After a while, I feel like it's warranted that you should respond in kind to that situation. But one thing I'm not about to do it because I dealt with that earlier before I started to do this show. And I thought about it and I said, you know what? I'm going to change everything. I'm going to talk about my coach, head coach, Georgia Southern head coach, Clay Helton. And he's going to make things happen here. I firmly believe that. So whatever y'all got going on, if y'all still in your feelings about this man not able to deliver at USC, that's on you. It's over with. You have a new coach. Be excited about that because we're damn sure excited about this over here. If I wasn't excited, I wouldn't be talking like this because this guy really brings a whole new dynamic to Georgia Southern. I'm here for it. I cannot wait to see it, and hopefully we'll get it rocking and rolling, start with the spring game in a couple weeks. If you like this content, hit the like button, share this content, subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. Over here, I talk about Atlanta Falcons and Georgia Southern football. Today, we went all in on Georgia Southern football, talking about our coach, Coach Clay Helton. That's my coach. If you're a Georgia Southern Eagle, that is your football coach. He's going to do some good things here. If you also want to check the audio side of things, I'm on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, and Google. You can subscribe to any of those platforms over there. I highly recommend you do so because I had an episode a while back that did not post on YouTube, and people were trying to figure out what's going on. This is why I have the podcast on different avenues, so you can listen if something goes down on one platform. You can go to another one and listen to at your leisure. Also, if you want to donate, you can also hit the links down in the description, help the podcast grow, help with equipment for the podcast, make it look a little more professional. Also, I have a Patreon where you can check out the Patreon, and I do an extra episode every Sunday on the Patreon for you guys that are pledging. All right, y'all, I'm going to get out of here. You guys enjoy your weekend. I will be back on Monday with the new episode, or if you're on the Patreon, you'll have an extra episode on Sunday. All right, y'all. Y'all take it easy. Y'all be blessed. Have a great weekend. Peace.